committee, the legends, Saurav Ganguly, VVS Lakshman, Sachin Tendulkar, and tells them that differences between him and Kumble were beyond repair. I can't work with Kumble, he says. This is a day before the ICC Champions Trophy final. That's what sources are telling us very clearly, that this is what happened. And guess what happens a day after the final, Tanvi?
Yes, absolutely. Let's take our viewers quickly through how things transpired and broke down so quickly. So that's the other breaking. We promised you the inside details. This is the day after the finals that we played against Pakistan. And this is when Anil Kumble met the legends, met the advisory committee, who conveyed to him what they had been told by Virat Kohli and where Virat Kohli, the captain of the cricket team, stood. So a day after the final on Monday, on 19th of June, is when Anil Kumble was told that it was Kohli who did not want an extension, so he should probably not expect one. Now, the debate tonight is that how it should be? If the captain says no, then it's a no. Sumansi Raman, if the captain says no, it's not happening, then it's not happening. It's a no.
Yeah.
No matter what the delivery has been by the coach.
No, I think, look, Tanvi, unlike in football, where the manager is really the boss, and any player will be chosen or dropped, including the captain, will serve at the manager's command. Cricket, it's not been that way. It's always been the captain who's pretty much called much of the shots, though not all of it. And I think that this is a kind of an ideal situation is where both get along. Now you have a situation where both don't get along and one necessarily will have to go. So obviously in this case it can't be the captain. It has to be the coach. But quite clearly, could all this have been avoided? Look, the BCCI knew that they had given him a one-year contract. They knew that the contract was ending after the Champions Trophy. And what happened? I mean, 2 weeks before the Champions Trophy is to commence, you sort of start receiving applications. I mean, this could have been sorted out well in advance. It could have been at least without the kind of a public showdown that we've had. But clearly, I think to say that the captain should call all the shots and the coach should only be a dummy, I don't think that that's really going to be the way it works, because the coach...
No, and who is the coach that we're talking about here, Sumansi Raman? Like I said that day, that day when we talked about Kohli versus Kumble, Suman, the fact was that their sentiment was divided because it is Anil Kumble. In cricketing history, in Indian cricket, he's folklore because he came out to bowl with a broken jaw. That's his commitment to the country. And he did it in the West Indies. And this is the tour, this is the country where he's refused to go out because you know what? He said, give me a full contract. Don't give me 2-week extensions. Don't treat me like change. I am not change money in your pocket that you can jingle when you feel and then you can toss out when you don't.
1 minute.
We've got viewers calling in, just going out to Usha Raut with us on the phone. Yes, Usha Raut.
Yes, good evening, Anand, and good evening, Tanvi. What is at the root of the problem? Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please, ma'am.
Yeah, what is at the root of the problem is the superstar status of our cricketers, Once they become successful, they are accorded such a high status that they start calling the shots. And in this unpleasant scenario, it is the reigning superstar Virat Kohli who has had his way. A thorough gentleman, a visionary like Anil Kumble has been putted out so unceremoniously. I think in trying to please the big boss, a wonderful coach like Anil Kumble has been made the fall guy. It's a sad day for Indian cricket, and it doesn't augur well for the future of Indian cricket.
Well, Usha, thank you for calling in. That was Usha Rao from Bengaluru. Like I said, the sentiment is divided. There are a lot who believe that Kohli deserves his team, Bimal Soni. Kohli deserves because he is taking the fall. He needs to be able to call the shots. But if you have Anil Kumble with you, well, you have a very sound cricketing mind, a calculating mind.
Well, I would say that BCCI again has handled this case very badly. They came to know before the final that there is a difference of opinion between the captain and the coach. What they should have done is, of course, they had to keep it silent till the Champions Trophy, but they should not have allowed the advisory committee to extend Kumble's tenure for 2 weeks. What they should have done is, they should have kept an ad hoc arrangement, which they have done now. They even asked Kumble to apply again, which was wrong. Even if they wanted to extend his tenure, They should not have asked him to apply. They should have kept it silent. They should have had a meeting after the Champions League, and then they should have taken a decision. Ad hoc arrangement, like what they have done now with Sridhar, could have been continued in the West Indies tour, and Kumble would not have been humiliated. What we are discussing today is that because two high-headed people were there, but Kumble knew, and I think he understands, that the coach's role is only advisory.
Yes.
It's the captain who's the boss in cricket. But at the same time, the captain, it's a man management issue when a manager is there. So, there has been a failure on both ends.
Mr. Sumansi Raman wants to say something
the
to that.
could have handled it better.
Very quickly, Sumansi Raman, before we go across to our next caller as well, because people also want to join this debate.
About this.
Yes, and express what they want to say. It's a divided house. Sumansi Raman, go ahead, please.
Yeah. See, I just want to make one point. I mean, this issue of saying that the captain can decide who he wants in the team. Now, I think that, you've got to draw some line somewhere on it. Now, let's say tomorrow, hypothetically, Kohli doesn't like Sourav Ganguly, and he doesn't like any of the other legends who are part of that, the group. Now, what happens then? I mean, can he talk to the committee of administrators and say, please replace them, I don't like Ganguly or I don't like Lakshman? Okay. I mean, you have got to have some, way in which there's got to be a boss somewhere.
Everybody has to work together.
You cannot say that the captain can decide anything and everything on his own. Obviously everybody has to work together.
You know why you need
kind of saying that I will give endless and limitless powers to the captain to decide who he wants as his coach. I think it's a kind of a
before Milind Rege jumps in, Suman, I've got Sumansi Raman. Sorry, I've got another caller, Pranay from Kolkata, and then we'll go to Himanshu and G. Raja Raman also. Yes, Pranay.
Yes, sir. I actually wanted to add 4 quick points. Firstly, the superstar culture has to go because the players have to keep in mind that they are on national duty, and for the fact that national duty is above the superstar culture. Secondly, the equation between the coach and the players have to be very, very good. Unless and until it is not good, the team will keep on losing important tournaments. Thirdly, the most important point is that Kohli is nobody. India has had many legends who have contributed to the Indian team's progress. So I think he should actually calm down his what can I say? His overconfidence, and should actually be contented with what he has achieved. And more needs to be achieved.
Pranay, thank you for calling and sharing those views. Let's also not forget that it is this very potent combo of the captain and the coach that's actually delivered a great year. This has been a complete breakdown of communication within Team India. In fact, even through the tournament that just ended, Anil Kumble had been totally sidelined. We are given to understand from our sources deeply entrenched into the cricket that it was Kumble who was largely only interacting with the bowler side. So if the captain and the coach were not able to communicate deeply, Anand, then that is a problem.
Yes, and that visual that we saw in Birmingham, where the half-an-hour throwdown happened, the night of the debate, when G. Raja Raman was there with us, and he turned around and said that when they come out together and play, you will say it is optics. You will come out and say there is motive here. But G. Raja Raman, they thought it all turns out that it was optics. They just wanted to quell the talk of a rift through the tournament. They managed that well.
I love this. You're putting words in my mouth. I don't think I ever use a word like optics. You will have tapes with you. You can check them out.
Yes.
But having said that, I want to make a couple of points before anybody else comes in. I've been waiting for 20 minutes to make this. I think it is Kumble who has humiliated BCCI and Virat Kohli because the CICs offered him an extension and he said no to that. I think it's Kumble who's taken a stand. I think it's admirable because he knows that it was going to be difficult. His body language was quite poor during the Champions Trophy final, and I think he's made the best decision in the interest of Indian cricket. So I would support Anil Kumble for what he has done. I think he's humiliated BCCI. Let us not forget that there was one SMS or WhatsApp message that a BCCI official shared with the media, which says Anil Kumble is overbearing, which was apparently which came from Virat Kohli. So it is this BCCI official who is the root cause for what is happening to Indian cricket today. It is not Virat Kohli. It is definitely not Kohli versus Kumble. It is BCCI versus Kumble. I think we must all understand that very clearly. The other point that Kumble will remember is that he was leading a whole revolt against Kapil Dev all those years ago when Kapil Dev was coach. Kumble, Sachin, Dravid, Ganguly and Srinath, 5 of them came together, made a presentation to Dalmia, and they got John Wright in. So today he's facing a similar situation. I don't think he's going to complain about it, but he's been let down by BCCI and he's got back at them by saying, I don't want this job anymore. After he was
what we're given to understand that the extension that they're talking about is a 2-week extension. And what Anil Kumble said is, don't give me piecemeal extensions. Give me a full contract for 3 years until the World Cup 2019 at least.
The BCCI release was very clear. It says that he was offered an extension.
Yes, that's what they were not clear about. How long was his extension?
And Mr. Rajaram, I believe it was just very smartly worded. It leaves it open-ended for you and I.
How long was it?
It leaves it open-ended for you and I to have this conversation. I believe it was very smartly worded to not put a timeline on it. And before I go across to Manchu Chaturvedi, who's been patiently waiting by, we have one caller. Ramesh is on the phone line and he wants to make his point as well. Ramesh, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Ma'am, I want to say one thing, that Anil Kumble is the most respected cricketer in India. And not only India, in world over.
Absolutely.
So to humiliate him like this is not acceptable. There are people sitting on the channel, Mr. Soni and somebody else sitting next to him saying, he's a captain, captain, captain. You know, what is the Kohli has just come into cricket. Kumble has given his life to the cricket. If there is a difference, that can be worked out. Does that mean that we should accept defeat and you go and don't perform in the field and get defeated by the people? Or by the other team?
No, well, one thing, Ravi, is, Ramesh, thanks for calling in. One thing is that what happened on field, I don't think it has got any bearing with what is happening in the dressing room, and that's something which we have to commend them for their professionalism. They've been able to keep the dressing room issues out, and it's not manifested itself on the cricketing field. So let's not say that, and I'm going to put that on record. But there is another aspect that comes out at this point, is that...
how do you know that?
No, sir.
Anand, how do you know that?
Sir, you have seen the performances.
How do you know?
See, you have seen the performance. I do not know if there was a difference of opinion in terms of what the call of the toss has been. You might want to say that did Kumble want to bat first and did Kohli decide to bowl first on the final. I do not know, sir. But as far as on the face of it, the players did a fantastic job on the field, and we'll go with that unless somebody else tells me something otherwise. If you know something, Suman Siraman, say it.
Anand, in the final, the bad blood that was there in the last few days could have potentially had an impact on the performance in the final. Okay. How can you rule it out? You don't know. I don't know.
Kishore Bhimani agree, disagree. Kishore Bhimani disagrees. Kishore Bhimani disagrees.
I disagree completely with Sumansi Raman. These are professional cricketers. These are some of the world's greatest athletes. They do not get put off by who's fighting with who. Go and give their performance of a lifetime. They play for India, they play for the country, they play for their team, and they are not worried about who's fighting with whom. I'm sorry.
Milind Rege has had these differences in the dressing room. Milind Rege has been through it.
I completely agree with Kishore.
Until recently.
I don't think
let's listen to him.
I don't think the players will allow these kind of differences to come on the ground. That's for sure. And I completely disagree with the gentleman on this issue. 2 points I'd like to make over here. Thank God Anil Kumble wasn't appointed for 3-year period. Had Kumble been appointed for 3-year period, what would have happened? Would Kohli have said, no, either he plays or I play? Secondly, it's too dangerous to allow a captain to dictate who the coach should be. I don't think that should be allowed. His views should be taken, but the captain saying, I want X, Y, Z, is just not allowed.
Why do you say that?
Because tomorrow he may say, I want this particular selection committee. Then what happens? He may say, I want only things that please me. I'm not saying for once Virat Kohli will say it, but it's a dangerous trend, to have this.
Manchu Chaturvedi, please come in. Where do you stand on this debate tonight?
I don't see I stand anywhere, because if you wait for 27 minutes not coming in even...
Our apologies,
I
Mr.
mean, it's a little
Chaturvedi.
sad that, you take a guest on 27th minute. Yeah, I know it's happening quite regularly, because you lose the interest in the debate, because, I look like I'm watching a TV, not sitting in a debate myself.
Point taken, point noted. But we have 6 panelists, lot of callers, lot of breaking news, so you have to accommodate us, and we also will make sure that you don't have to wait 26 minutes the next time on Himanshu. Thank you, Himanshu Chaturvedi. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. G. Rajaram also pointed that out. We will try and make amends soon. Please go ahead. Himanshu, make your point, please.
Because, it's embarrassing for me to sit like this on the camera.
Not at all, sir.
And not
at all, sir. We value your presence.
When people are getting 3 chances,
we value your presence. Let's not count that.
Anand, I don't make...
Let's not trivialize the weight of this debate, sir, and your presence.
5 times in the debate.
Let's not trivialize the weight of this debate and your presence here by getting into counts and minutes. Let's get on with the debate, sir. I've noted your point. We will make amends. I've told you. Let's go on, sir.
Frankly, if you ask me, I've lost the interest in the debate to go on.
I think you can recharge your batteries much.
Since I'm sitting on the camera, I'll give my view.
We can never lose interest in cricket.
Okay, Mr. Chaturvedi, let me rephrase it for you. What we are right now wanting to know from you is that a day before the final match, there were meetings. A day after the final match, there were meetings. There was a heated conversation that happened right here, which is to say whether it impacted what happens to players on ground or not. Now, do you think Kumble got insulted, or do you agree with Mr. Rajaram when he says he hit back and he insulted the BCCI, humiliated the BCCI as well? Do you agree with that viewpoint?
Let me turn the entire thing away today. All right. The controversy should be in that should Virat be the captain of the team the way he's performed as a captain from the day one starting of the championship, 2017, the Champions League. I've been questioning on Virat's captaincy because he's been a disaster in IPL. We're all pointing. Virat has been saying remove Kumble. This was not a time to think about Kumble. It was a good time to think about Virat Kohli. Kumble has contributed beautifully well. He's one of the best coaches you would have had. Last year when he was handed over 1 year, I was very vocal on all the channels. I said, why are they giving it for 1 year? Because they're going to repeat the same story what they did Kapil Dev. They bought Kapil Dev. Kapil Dev was also only brought for 1 year. Keeping this in mind that he'll be removed after 1 year. And Sachin Tendulkar said, I don't want him, and he was removed. It's a dangerous trend which is getting into cricket. It's the captain who's going to run the team.
No, let me tell you why he was brought in for 1 year.
Why do you have board sitting? Why do you have evaluator sitting?
No, your intervention in the debate is very timely.
Why did they bring him for 1 year?
You just set up our next piece of information that we want to share. The next piece of information we want to share with you is why he was brought in for 1 year. Why Anil Kumble was thrust upon these players. Let's hit that and let's tell our viewers.
Because they had the intentions of not...
No, sir, because a certain senior member, now non-existent within the BCCI, brought in Anil Kumble to clip the wings of Mr. Ravi Shastri, whose influence within the team and within the BCCI was growing, and it caused a few insecurities, sir. That's what we are given to understand, and that's what's created this entire mess. G. Rajaram, you want to respond? You nodded the moment I said that. Kishore Bhimani also.
I agree to that to a point.